what are some of the mistakes, glaring mistakes that you see comedians making, in your opinion, in your professional opinion, based on your experience and what you've gone through at this point?
Well, a lot of them are, of course, they're just as new as I was, and they're writing jokes, and there's some of them are funny. But if you're going to sit there and write jokes, what I find is they're bringing them on stage. They're walking up there with a clipboard, reading off their jokes, and I don't see the big names ever doing that. So I knew that you couldn't do that. But if you're just constantly writing jokes instead of working on an act or a bit, that's kind of, I see what happens. I've seen some really, really funny people that are several years ahead of me in this game, and they're still bringing notes up to the stage. And I'm thinking, you're never going to get hired. You can't walk up there with that. At least that's what I'm thinking. Maybe they do get hired. I don't know. But I haven't.
No. That's exactly correct. You're never going to get hired using notes. No one's going to, not for comedy. You may get some other kind of gig from doing that, but not from comedy. And there's a whole plethora of reasons that you don't want to use notes. It takes away your audience control. Audiences aren't stupid. They know you're a rookie. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it, but they automatically know that you're a rookie if you're using notes on stage. If you're not going to put in the effort to present an act, well, audiences are just as smart, if not smarter, than the comedian. And they can see everything that you're doing. It's like, oh, man, this guy's just a loser. I mean, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, that's exactly what happens, and you just nailed it on the head. You've got to come out there, rehearsed, ready to go, ready to deliver and express yourself. If you want to get the big laughs. Now, if you want to just, mess around for years, use notes. Ain't no big deal. Not my act.
That's what I saw. It just seems amateur to me, even though they may be pulling it off, but it just automatically. And I've seen a guy that was, I just couldn't believe it. I almost couldn't watch the rest of his act, and he was, quote, a headliner, but it was so obvious he'd walk to the stool and read his notes and do a joke. And I'm thinking, holy cow, how did you ever get this far? But he won't get there. He won't be at the same place I saw again, I can tell you that. So that's the only one I've ever seen get anywhere close to it. The rest of them are out there just still doing open mics. Another thing is they don't have a goal, I don't think. And again, this may be because it's just a hobby. It's just something they enjoy doing, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if they want to be a paid comedian on a regular basis, then you got to have some goals. Where you want to be next year, that kind of stuff, and what do I got to do to get there? And brother, it takes some work. You're going to have to book some gigs. That's what a lot of it is. The comedy part really wasn't as hard as I thought, as compared to just getting out and doing the work to get yourself known, to get some experience.
One of the ways that I have put this before is if you take your comedy career as a finger, one of your fingers, the comedy act part is the fingernail. The rest of your stand-up comedy career is the rest of the finger. It's the business aspect. It's all these other things that you've got to have in addition to an act. And keeping in mind that most people never get to the point where they can develop a solid, consistent act. It doesn't matter what market they're working in. So, I've got an article on my blog about, if you think there's competition, if you think there's a lot of competition in stand-up comedy, you're actually wrong. There's very few people out there that can actually deliver a solid, consistent, big laugh stand-up comedy routine. So from that perspective, there isn't a lot of competition. This is fantastic information. If anything else that you can share about what you've seen that comedians do that shoot themselves in the foot?
Well, I think that a lot of them are still stuck in I'm going to make it in the comedy club market. I'm going to be the next Eddie Murphy or something like that, and try to follow that model. And there's just not that many Eddie Murphys. I mean, that guy is funny, and they're not looking at what they can make and make a nice, comfortable living doing stand-up comedy, something they really enjoy. I mean, it's still got to boil down to you got to enjoy making people laugh. You just have to do that because if you don't enjoy that, then this is just going to be work to you.
Right. No, I agree with you 100%.
And I don't know if we mentioned, Steve, but my nature is an introvert, so standing up there was, when I say making people laugh, that was a bit of a chore. I do enjoy making people laugh. We sit around at the table, stuff like that. That's fun. I can make people laugh, but it took me getting out of my shell to get up there and say, well, don't keep it all to just the table. You can make other people laugh. And so I've gotten to the point where it's not the end of the world when I stand up in front of a group. In fact, I enjoy it. And even the smaller the group, I enjoy that. Small groups, big groups, it doesn't matter. It's fun to make people laugh.
Absolutely.